Hi, it's Lisa here from Capstone Editing. In this video, I'll explain how to properly use a style sheet to ensure absolute consistency in any document that you are editing. This video is mainly aimed at professional editors, particularly those starting out, but the information is certainly also relevant to writers who want to learn how to achieve consistency in their writing, particularly across long documents such as theses and manuscripts. The style sheet is an essential tool for the editor in maintaining complete consistency in a document, as well as for the author who, once given the style sheet by their editor, can refer to it when working further on his or her work. The Australian Editing Handbook on pages 91 to 93 provides an excellent explanation of what a style sheet is and how it should be used. Most professional editors in Australia should have a copy of this resource, written by Elizabeth Flan, Beryl Hill and Lan Wang. Make sure you get the second edition. They explain that a style sheet records all the style and spelling decisions made about a particular text. They describe a style sheet as normally having two parts. The first is the list of all the style decisions, for example, using unspaced M rules or spaced N rules, which foreign words to italicize, and which rules you'll follow for numerals and measurements. The second part is an A to Z list, including all words about which spelling, capitalization, hyphenation, or presentation decisions had to be made. However, depending on the context in which you're working, a style sheet can also include 4 other important sections that aren't covered by the Australian Editing Handbook. 2 of these are sections for decisions in relation to formatting and referencing. These are integral aspects of the work of an academic editor, for example. Another section that might be included is one on shortened forms. By this I mean abbreviations, acronyms, and initialisms, commonly referred to under the umbrella term of abbreviations. The Australian Editing Handbook assumes that you would include shortened forms in your A to Z list. However, if you're editing a document that contains a significant number of them, such as a postgraduate thesis, it is best practice to list these in a separate section, since you should be checking for their correct usage and creating or correcting the list of abbreviations as one specific task rather than sporadically as you're working through the A to Z list to ensure accuracy and consistency in other matters. A final useful section to include in your style sheet, which is valuable across all types of editing, is common errors made by the author. For example, the incorrect use of phrases like "in the other hand" rather than "on the other hand", so you can double check that these have been corrected during your edit, or overuse of phrases such as "in particular", so that you can make sure that your editing has reduced the number of times they appear. If you're following a house style, you don't have to include items that are covered in that style if you know it very well. But if you are a freelance editor working with various house styles, or if you know the author that will be working on the document further after you return it to them and they won't have a copy of the house style, then you should include everything. Okay, so now that you understand what a style sheet is, what is the most effective way to use one? You should have a template style sheet with the sections you commonly use saved that you can open at the beginning of every edit and save as for the current job. As you're editing, that is as you go, not at the end, you then add to this style sheet all your stylistic decisions that you make, the common errors you see, and the shortened forms encountered in the document. As an example, working through a paragraph, you see the acronym WTO. So you would add that to the style sheet under the shortened form section to allow you to later check that the acronym has been defined and used properly. Then you see focused, spelled with 2 S's. Assuming this particular document is to be edited following the Macquarie Dictionary, which you know uses focused with 1 S instead, you would add focused and focusing with 1 S to your spelling list. Finally, in the paragraph you see cooperate with a hyphen. Again, according to Macquarie, this should be cooperate without a hyphen, so you'd add that to your hyphenation list. It's important to make decisions about how all of these items should be presented the first time you encounter them, if possible. Adding them to your style sheet at this point will ensure that you're likely to present the majority of them correctly as you're editing, which will save you time at the end of your edit when you're implementing your style sheet. It will also save you time that you otherwise might spend agonizing over which of the 4 different possible presentations of the word you should use. Most professional editors will be editing to conform to a specific manual, house style, or dictionary, and thus will be able to make these decisions easily. The only time you might change your mind about a decision is if you later come to realise that the author has exhibited a definite preference for one option over the other, and that option is a valid one in the document being edited. For example, the author of an academic journal article might wish for you to follow the Snooks & Co. style manual for authors, editors and printers and the Macquarie Dictionary overall, but there might be certain words that are more commonly presented in a way that conflicts with these resources in their academic discipline. For example, Macquarie's first preference for the plural of curriculum is curriculums, but the field of education most commonly prefers to use curricula. The time to implement your style sheet is after you've completed your edit. You'll then use it to check that shortened forms have been used correctly to ensure that your decisions have been applied consistently in the document in relation to spelling, hyphenation, capitalisation and other presentation issues such as italics or punctuation marks, and to guard against any errors or inconsistencies remaining in the document. And of course, you would also follow the style sheet for any other matters you had included in it, such as formatting or referencing. For example, if focused with one S is in your spelling list, you'll use Word's find function to search for all instances of focus with 2 S's to make sure that no instances of focused or focusing with 2 S's remain in the document. After you've implemented your style sheet and finalised your edit of the document you're working on, if you need to provide the author with a copy of your style sheet, you'll need to tidy it up before you can send it on. To tidy up the style sheet, you just need to remove any sections that are not of use to the author. That is, the section you added for common author errors, and if the document already contains a complete list of abbreviations, the shortened forms section. You may or may not wish to leave the formatting and referencing sections depending on the author and the type of document. If you do, you'll need to check that these are all readily understood and relevant for the author, and delete any items that are unlikely to be useful. As part of tidying up the style sheet, it's recommended that you alphabetize the lists of word-related decisions. I hope you found this video informative. If you have, please do like it and share it with your colleagues. And don't forget to subscribe to the Capstone Editing YouTube channel and blog for more useful advice and resources on professional editing and academic writing. Thanks for watching.